Thanks, Kitty. Now let's go and learn how to make some natural dye. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our homesteading program today. We are going to be making some natural paint, natural dye. So I've got a few things here that I'm going to be painting. I've got this awesome papyrus that was made earlier on. So we're going to try and paint on that later. I'm also going to use this, I'm going to upcycle this produce bag. So because this is material, we do actually have to prepare this one before you put some dye or ink on it. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into the soda ash water. Now this one does need parental supervision with this. Make sure you wear gloves when you do use soda ash. Okay, so I've got my water prepared here. I'm just going to pour in the amount that I need. There we go. Give it a little stir. And you want to kind of make sure this was slightly warm water. That makes it easier for it to dissolve. All right. And that's going to kind of continue in there. Then I'm just going to dunk this bag in here and just let it have a nice good soak. It needs at least 20 minutes, so that'll give us plenty of time to make our dye. All right, now that we've set that to one side, it is now time to start making our paint. So we've got all different ingredients here. We're going to try and make some different colors. These are obviously all natural ingredients. But the first one we're going to go for is I'm going to try the blueberries right here. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to use my mortar and pestle. I'm going to pop that in there. This is just a little bit of a cheat, makes it a little bit easier. I'm just going to smush that down because the idea is we're going to want to get as much of the juice out as we can. So by kind of using this, giving it a little squish first, that's going to help me out a lot. So I'm going to break that down a little bit. Okay, I'll just pop that right there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wire mesh. It doesn't need to be a flat one like this, whatever kind of works for you. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour it through. Whoop, that's a lot of juice. Now you'll notice that I'm wearing gloves. That's just going to help me out, because we don't want it to necessarily dye our skin. And then you're just going to kind of smush it through as much as you can. I'm going through this a little bit fast. I obviously could have spent a lot more time with that mortar and pestle to really kind of break this down. But you can kind of smush it with your fingers. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Or again, I could use this, kind of break it down a little bit more. And you're going to get smush, 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 smush. You're going to want to do that as much as you can. I'm just going to kind of pause there because we do have some juice. But you would want to keep mushing this down until you've got all the juice out of there. All right. Leave that there. So as you can see, I do have my juice in there now. What we're going to do then is you're going to add just a little pinch of salt. And I've got my salt there. And then you want about 1 or 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Just using my paintbrush as my mixer. Gonna mix it, mix through there like that. And there we go. There's the first one done. Okay, now we're going to try and make our light pink dye. To do that, we're going to use strawberries. So these ones are nice. These strawberries, they were kind of already a little bit kind of going bad, but that's kind of nice because they're already nice and soft. So I'm going to kind of mush them down. Pour those on there. Now it really kind of varies on the fruit how many you are going to need because you're really kind of going for the juices of the fruit. So depending on if they're slightly drier, you might need more. If they're softer, I'm going to need less. So. And then you just kind of work on kind of smushing them through there, getting kind of as much of it out as you can. Kind of going backwards and forwards. You don't have to chop the fruit up. It's just easier if you do. Just kind of see how much is going through. It's looking good. All right. Again, you can keep working this, get all of that juice out of there. We're just going to kind of see what we've got going here. And there we go. We've got all of our juice in there. Again, we're going to need a pinch of salt and then a splash of vinegar. Give that a stir. And there's our next paint. Okay, now we are going to try and make our lime green paint. So for this, we're going to go ahead and use some spinach. This is already pre-chopped, which makes it really nice. For this one, I did use frozen spinach. Fresh spinach works just as well. It actually kind of produces a bit of a darker color. But again, I'm going to smush that down really well. And we're going to go again with that. The more you can smush it down, the easier it is at this stage. And you're going to really work it in. It's going to take more time with the spinach because obviously there is less natural juice in spinach. So you might have to take a lot longer with this one. And it's also going to take more spinach than you think. Again, because there isn't much moisture in a spinach leaf. Okay, so we got our green one all ready to go. What is different about the spinach one is we're actually going to use an egg yolk in there. So I've got my egg right here. And I'm going to go ahead, luckily did not break the yolk, and kind of get rid of all of that white there, passing them backwards and forwards till we get rid of all of the white. Oh, I did just break it, so I'm just going to go ahead now, dump that yolk in there. Gonna save my eggshells because it's a great use in the garden, compost, stuff like that. And I'm gonna mix that in there. And there we go. And then kind of depending on the color, if you decide actually no, it's not quite dark enough, just gonna add a little bit more spinach in and just keep working at it until you get to the color that you want. Okay, so now we're going to make our yellow paint. And for that, we're going to use turmeric. So I'm going to put in some turmeric. And again, pinch of salt. Add in the vinegar. And this one again is going to need an egg yolk. So I'm going to go ahead and again separate those so that we can get the egg yolk out. Pop that in there. And we're going to mix it all together. We want the consistency to be sort of like tempura paint. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of vinegar in there. And there we go. There is my yellow paint. Okay, so now we are going to make our orange paint. So to do that, again, we're going to use the yellow is our turmeric. So we're going to put some of that in. And our red to make the orange is going to be the chili powder. Now you want about a 2-to-1 ratio with the chili powder being the 2. So slightly more of that one. There we go. Again, pinch of salt. And we're going to need more vinegar. And again, we're going to put that egg yolk in there. Oh, uh-oh. The yolk in there. Give that a good mix. And again, just kind of look at that. I actually think it needs a little bit more yellow, so I'm going to add a little bit more turmeric in. And again, the same with the yellow. We do want this one to be kind of the consistency of tempura paint. So you can kind of work with it, add a little bit more powder or liquid as you need to. And I want this one to be a little bit darker because I already have that bright yellow one. So there we go. There is our orange. All right, so here we are. We are ready now to do our painting. I ended up leaving this overnight because for this one, we want the tie-dye one on the cloth to dry all day in the sun. So it's easier to paint it here in the morning and then let it dry. So here we are. So I've got my cloth here. Again, it's been soaking in that soda ash water. Wearing my gloves for that one, of course. I'll put that to one side. All right, and then we have it here. You'll notice again, I've got a protective thing on the table just to kind of protect my table from our natural dye. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of go ahead with this one and just kind of do a sort of tie-dye effect. Just kind of drop it on there. You can paint different designs with it. So I'm just going to do a little bit here for you to see. So this one here was our blueberry. You'll notice there's kind of like the offshoots coming off are slightly more bluer, which is kind of nice there. I've got my orange one here. This one was the chili powder and the turmeric. And I've got my bright yellow. My bright yellow here, that was just the pure turmeric. The red was sort of pinkish one here. This one was my strawberry. That one's a really nice light pink one there. And my green from the spinach. I decided last night that I wanted it to be a little bit more green, so I did actually end up adding a little bit more spinach to it there. So I'm going to kind of go ahead and go over and do a lot more of these kind of patterns, but those are just there to kind of show you what it looks like on the cotton there. What we would do with this is once I've completely finished painting it, I'm going to, as I said, leave it outside in the sun to dry. I want to leave it as long as I can. And once it is completely dry, I'm really, really dried in there. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to rinse it very gently by hand. And it is going to take out some of that dark coloring, but I don't want to leave this sort of food stuff on here. And so it's then going to have sort of a paler design, but it's going to be pretty. And now I'm going to show you what it's like to paint on our papyrus. Thank you again, Kitty, for that one. So this one, just kind of same kind of way, kind of paint it on there. You can see it's a little bit lighter on the paper because it isn't so much soaking into the cloth. So it's up to you what you want to do with this. If you'd rather tie-dye with it, if you want to use it as like an ink, if you want to use it as a paint, all different options. Again, make sure you have something protective underneath because this is very wet. And so I've got a little heart there. And you can have a lot of fun with it. It depends which one you want to use. Again, this one is runnier. You've got more of the paste kind of one here. You can kind of paint that one more out like this. All different things for it. So a lot of fun with this. You can experiment with all different types of fruits and vegetables and see which color you like best. This was a really fun program. I hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to see your images, so don't forget to tag us in what you make. Thanks so much.